From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from the Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the President unveils plans for an overhaul of the nation's healthcare delivery system through the Health Sector Renewal Compact initiative built to attract $3 billion to the sector. Rivers' political crisis takes a new twist as State High Court restrains the Martins Amewule group of lawmakers from interfering with the legislative duties of a rival group led by Edison Ehie. APC kicks against injunction. And crisis looms in the Inter-Party Advisory Council as some members storm out of a meeting in Abuja over what they describe as a deliberate attempt by the council's national chairman to extend his tenure. On sports news tonight, still basking in the euphoria of their 2023 CAF Awards triumphs, Victor Osimhen and Azizat Oshola say the recognitions will spur them to work harder.
And in business news tonight, Nigeria's crude oil production falls to 1.4 million barrels per day in the month of November this year.
And from Abuja, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State to proceed on another medical leave from tomorrow, writes State Assembly, formally transferring power to his deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa.
Healthcare delivery in the country may be set to undergo a major transformation if the promise by the president is anything to go by. President Bola Tinubu today has emphasized the country's commitment to achieving universal health coverage, saying health is now on the front burner. He was speaking during the commemoration of the World Universal Health Coverage Day and the presidential unveiling of Nigeria's Health Sector Renewal Compact, which is expected to attract $3 billion into the sector. Our State House correspondent, Larry Lasisi, reports.
Today, the nation unveils Nigeria's Health Sector Renewal Compact and Investment Initiative. It's also the event to mark the World Universal Health Coverage Day.
We cannot afford to...
Attending the event, organized by the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, are state governors, traditional leaders, civil society organizations, and development partners. A long list of partners, including the traditional institution in Nigeria, hailed the initiative and pledged their support.
Friends, colleagues, this is a time for Nigeria to take center stage to address the issues of maternal mortality, the high rates of stunting, to ensure that every family has access to good quality care.
It's no exaggeration to say that today could be a turning point for Nigeria and indeed for Africa. The scale of your ambition is a model for other countries. If implemented, it will send a powerful message throughout our continent that universal health coverage is possible.
We will give our total commitment 100% so that Nigeria will be a healthy country.
For those who have a major role to play in ensuring the Health Sector Renewal Compact is a success, this is a historic moment.
We expect, and at least we have heard, at least $3 billion in pooled and non-pooled financing in the period 2024 to 2026, which is a huge milestone to be channeled towards improving our primary healthcare system and achieving results for Nigerians.
Our mandate to collaborate closely with the Federal Ministry of Health and ensure that the provisions of this compact are translated into practical and measurable actions.
Federal Republic of Nigeria to address us.
President Tinubu says the occasion highlights this administration's stance on quality health for Nigerians.
Delivering improved quality health. The outcome is an underpinning factor in my promise of renewed hope. That hope is ignited here today, and with your support, health is back on the front burner. Recognizing the importance of primary health care as the cornerstone of a resilient, integrated healthcare system, my administration is embarking on massive effort from 2024 to refurb physical infrastructure, equipment, and retraining of frontline health workers in collaboration with all the 36 states.
It's a historic day that highlights the points behind the universal health coverage, that everyone should have access to quality health services without financial difficulties. And after all is said and done here, what is expected is that the benefits of this partnership will reach every Nigerian across the country. From the State House, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the president has reaffirmed the country's potential to be at the forefront of Africa's efforts in reducing greenhouse emissions. President Bola Tinubu stated this in an article on CNN in which he reiterated the country's commitment to achieving this feat. Quote, Nigeria has taken significant steps and acted decisively in enacting the Climate Change Act and committing to net zero emissions between 2050 and 2070. He, however, admits that as the president of a country of more than 200 million people, and also in his role as chair of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, he presides over a region battling with security threats and socio-economic challenges. President Tinubu, who in November had participated at the COP28 World Climate Action Summit in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, highlighted steps at collaborative efforts between Nigeria and Germany to reduce gas flaring in the Niger Delta. Staying with climate change matters outside the nation's shores, after 2 weeks of intense negotiations, COP28 in Dubai is coming to a close, but then parties are yet to agree on the text draft decision. African group of negotiators say the text has weaker language on global goal on adaptation, which many in Africa see as a failure to help those who have been impacted by climate change. Our environment correspondent, Ayola Kasim, reports.
COP28 has been a mixed bag, having delivered some for Africa and failed to deliver on other key issues. First came the Loss and Damage Fund, with the agreement on the text coming only on the first day of the conference, being not explicitly time-bound. Meanwhile, the global stocktake has been the most divisive topic.
Africa cannot accept a GGA framework without means of implementation from developed countries, for developing countries, especially on the targets. We demand, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for a standing agenda on GGA and further work on metrics and indicators for tracking progress.
While a declaration on the phase-out of fossil fuels had been anticipated, some believe there has been no indication that this will be delivered, at least not in Dubai.
What we have seen since is that the parties have deeply held and deeply split views, especially on the language around fossil fuels. It's important to be clear on something. The text we released was a starting point for discussions. Again, this is entirely normal for a consensus-based process. When we released it, we knew opinions were polarized, but what we didn't know was where each country's red lines were.
We've now passed the 11 a.m. Tuesday deadline set by the presidency, and the negotiation is still going on in those rooms. Many now ask, will this COP meet the hope of millions of people around the world who are at the receiving end of the climate crisis? Well, as I say, only time will tell. From the venue of COP28 in Dubai, Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
Back here in Nigeria, it appears the political crisis rocking River State is not about close to being resolved. This comes as a state high court sitting in Port Harcourt has restrained the leader of the 27 lawmakers who defected to the APC from the PDP yesterday, Martins Amewole, from interfering with the legislative duties of Edison Ehie, who leads other 4 members of the State House of Assembly. The ex-party order, which was issued by Justice Monina Danagogo, warned against the use of thugs and police officers to forcefully gain access into the premises of the House of Assembly. The interim order is pending the determination of the motion on notice already filed. Meanwhile, in swift reaction, the Rivers APC caretaker chairman, Tony Okocha, has condemned the interim injunction, threatening to report the judge to the National Judicial Council. He described the move as a ploy to allow the governor present the state's 2024 budget to the 4 lawmakers in the Ehie group, vowing that they will not sit and allow this to happen. Meanwhile, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has expressed his resolve to continue to implement policies that will further develop the state and improve the welfare of the youth, despite the current political impasse. Governor Fubara was speaking through his Chief of Staff, Chidi Amadi, during a solidarity rally by a coalition of youth groups from the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District at the Government House in Port Harcourt.
The last few weeks have seen allies break ranks and friends turn foes as the political crisis in River State keeps changing. The defection of the 27 members of the State House of Assembly from the PDP to the APC may have created the opportunity for interest groups to openly declare their stance. This rally by a coalition of Ogoni youths and others from the 7 local government areas making up the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District and members of the Eastern Zone of the Ijaw Youth Council is one of such public support. From the UTC junction on Azikiwe Road, the youths make their way to the Government House gate to declare their support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
The governor of Rivers State is from Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. He is our son, yes, and we shall not sit and fold our arms and allow anybody to intimidate him. We are here in one accord to say that the governor should be allowed to fulfill his promises to Rivers people. We are here in one accord to say that no SIM, no Rivers State.
The physically challenged are also here separately, but for a similar purpose.
We have come to make our position clear that we don't fear for intimidation, we don't fear for oppression, we don't fear of suppression, we don't fear of humiliation, we don't fear of suppression, subjugation. We have come to say that this time is the time for Ababo Seneba Fubara.
This venue has been host to different groups since the start of the recent political crisis. Just a day before, another group of Ijaw Youth Council members, while marking their silver jubilee, pulled over to declare their solidarity with Governor Fubara.
We are telling His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, that IYC will stand in solidarity with him, come rain, come sun, that the over 30 million Niger youth all over the world is behind him. We are with him and we are for him, come rain, come sun.
The groups are all received and addressed on behalf of the governor by his chief of staff, who restates the administration's commitment to good governance, irrespective of the drama.
He has asked me to come here and address you and say clearly that the support that the youth has continued to give to him, he will not take for granted. He will not take the interests of Rivers State for granted. The development of Rivers State is paramount in his agenda. For whatever is happening now, by the special grace of God and by your collective support, peace will be restored.
Amidst the political crisis, the Rivers State Executive Council, in line with the determination of Governor Fubara on Monday, December 11, approved a budget estimate of 800 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year.
In part 2, after the break, Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu set to proceed on another medical leave from tomorrow, December the 13th. Plus, Channels Television's political affairs analyst Lau Lukoi brings another perspective to the political crisis in River State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The President unveils plan for an overhaul of the nation's healthcare delivery system through the Health Sector Renewal Compact Initiative, built to attract $3 billion to the sector. Rivers' political crisis takes a new twist as State High Court restrains the Martins Amewale group of lawmakers from interfering with the legislative duties of a rival group led by Edison Ehie. APC kicks against injunction. Crisis looms in the Inter-Party Advisory Council as some members storm out of a meeting in Abuja over what they describe as a deliberate attempt by the council's national chairman to extend his tenure. And Israel has continued its bombardment of Gaza, with the main focus on Khan Yunis in the south. There's also been fighting in Rafah near the Egyptian border. Indeed, there's more on the Rivers political crisis. Channels Television's political affairs analyst, Mr. Lau Luakonde, sees the crisis as a fallout of the move to realign to the center, which he says is history being repeated from the Second and the Third Republics. He's also of the opinion that the lawmakers who defected may be at the risk of losing their seats should the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, decide to take legal action on the matter.
I think that what is happening is a return to the politics of the Second Republic, and I dare say the Third Republic, where you in fact see that the people of the South-South will normally align with the center. If you remember, in the Second Republic, MPN had control of Rivers State and Cross River and those areas, and the same thing happened in the ill-fated Third Republic, you know, where you had the NRC in charge of the party, even though the NRC was not at the center, because, of course, we know what happened with the election that wasn't concluded. But the point is that oftentimes the people in the South-South normally aligns with the incumbent national party, in this case being the APC. What happened was that in 2015, with the emergence of the APC, which was an alliance essentially between the North and Southwest, the political paradigm of Nigeria shifted in such a way that the Southwest, that would normally be in opposition, is now in the center with the North. So that sort of disorganized what would normally be the South-South and the Southeast aligning with the center. So between 2015 and now, you have a situation where for the first time, almost for the first time in Nigeria's history, you have the people of South-South, you know, being outside of the politics of the center up to 2023. So what is happening in Rivers State today might be the beginning of the return of the people of South-South to be with whoever is in the center. So there are a lot of things that we can say about it, but I see it as a realignment that is in line with Nigeria's political history. There's a ruling of the Supreme Court in 2015. Actually, the lead judgment was read by just retired Justice Datijo, where it was established, you know, that if you decamp from your party as a legislator, except there is a division at the national level, then you might have to lose your case. In that particular instance, I believe Mr. Abegunde, who had won the seat in Ondo State Assembly under Labour Party, decamped to the then ACN. And then, of course, the Ondo State House of Assembly took the matter to court, and then Abegunde lost at the court of first instance, went on appeal, lost on appeal, and eventually the matter got to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court affirmed the judgment of both the lower and the appeal courts. So if that were to be a reflection, if that were to have a reflection of what happened today, then one might say that the members of the River State Assembly might have to do some kind of legal fireworks. But we don't know how this is going to play out. Because if you look at that ruling very well, there's a distinction between a division at the state level and a division at the national level. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out. But you're right. I think that there might be a threat if the party goes to court to them retaining those seats.
Let's now head to the nation's capital where Gloria Omezuke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Gloria. Great to see you.
Many thanks, Ayo. Well, here in the nation's capital, crisis appears to be brewing in the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, as some members of the council today stormed out of a meeting in Abuja over what they described as an attempt by the national chairman of the council, Mr. Yabagi Sani, to extend his tenure. After a meeting in Abuja which held behind closed doors, the members, who are national chairmen of some political parties, claimed the current tenure of the executives of the council ended today, December 12, 2023. The national chairman of the council, however, has denied the claims.
A heated confrontation marked the conclusion of the Inter-Party Advisory Council's end of tenure meeting due to allegation by some members of an unlawful extension of the executive's tenure under the leadership of Mr. Yabagi Sani. When tempers calmed, the national chairman of IPAC denies claims of tenure elongation as he explains that the election date was only shifted by a few days and he remains in charge as the interim chairman.
After the expiration of the council tenure of 2 years, which ended today midnight, the council in its wisdom appointed the General Assembly in its wisdom rather, appointed the council to run the affairs of the Inter-Party Advisory Council between tomorrow, that is when the tenure of this council expires, until the election is conducted on the 18th of this month.
Some aggrieved members state their position on the issue of tenure elongation.
We just need to correct some certain abnormalities that is going on in this country. And now, as the umbrella body of all political parties in Nigeria, which is IPAC, we feel that sanity should begin from here.
You want to extend my tenure, and I don't want to be part of that extension. I want the right thing to be done. Let's have election. We have dragged this election timetable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
The chairman of the IPAC Electoral Committee gives reasons why the date for the election was moved to the 18th of December 2023.
There are just two positions that will not be part of that election. The position of the Assistant National Secretary and that of the Publicity Secretary, because they came under off-season election. They passed through the process, they were elected, and they have not done 2 years. IPAC, in its wisdom, extended their tenure to terminate with the ones that will be elected now, so that we don't have such aberration.
Despite the imminent election of a new executive in just a few days, disgruntled members assert that scheduling the election on December 18, 2023, 5 days after the expiration of the current executive's tenure, constitutes a blatant violation of the Inter-Party Advisory Council's Code of Conduct.
In other stories, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State is to proceed on yet another medical leave from tomorrow, December the 13th, as a follow-up to his medical treatment. A statement by his spokesperson, Mr. Richard Olatunde, explains that during his medical leave, Governor Akeredolu will prioritize his health and ensure a full recovery before resuming official duties. According to him, a formal letter regarding the medical leave and a notice formally transferring power in line with the Nigerian Constitution will be transmitted to the State House of Assembly. The statement adds that the Deputy Governor, Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa, will assume the responsibilities of the governor in acting capacity. Mr. Olatunde further clarifies that Governor Akeredolu has consistently delegated power to his deputy during his previous annual vacations. His clarification comes against the backdrop of earlier alleged attempt by officials close to the governor to shut out the deputy governor from acting in the governor's stead while undergoing medical treatment. Now, powerful Nigerians involved in illegal mining are sponsoring banditry and terrorism in the country, and this is according to the Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Dele Alake. He stated this when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals for the ministry's 2024 budget defense in Abuja today. Mr. Alake is also alleging that foreigners also engage in illegal mining in the country and urged that close attention be paid to the sector, which he says is capable of raking in trillions for the country annually.
One pernicious discovery that we made, Mr. Chairman, is that a lot of these banditries, terrorisms, insecurities that we associate with this sector are actually sponsored by illegal miners. Now, these illegal miners are not your artisanal miners. They are not the people who pick gold rusts on the ground. No. These are heavy, powerful individuals in our country. And they are Nigerians. They are not foreigners. Yes, you can see foreigners as symptoms, but the foreigners are not the diseases. Nigerians are the powers behind those foreigners that you see on the streets.
Still to come on the news at 10, Nigeria's crude oil production falls to 1.4 million barrels per day in November this year. But that's in business news. Do join us again. Welcome back as to watching the news at 10. In recognition of the resilience, dedication and innovation displayed by women who have left indelible marks in the energy sector, the Women of Energy Network has hosted an annual award night in Lagos. The group says it is committed to fostering a more inclusive and diverse energy landscape, and the award ceremony stands as a testament to the talent of women within the network who are committed to creating meaningful impact through a variety of initiatives.
It's the Women in Energy Network Award Night taking place in Lagos. The group boasts of over 300 members in less than 3 years. The president of the Women in Energy Network, Eyono Fatai Williams, welcomes members, takes to the podium and elaborates on the essence of the celebration.
It's not just a celebration of success, it is a recognition of the resilience, dedication and innovation displayed by women who have left indelible marks in the energy sector. This platform allows us to amplify the voices of inspiring women in the energy sector, sharing their stories, their insights, their experiences, and their expertise.
Young women in the energy sector are inducted into the network.
I hereby pledge to conform to all the policies and procedures of the association.
They do a lot of knowledge learning. They do webinars on different topics. They have conferences, events. And all in all, I believe it's an excellent resource for any Nigerian woman who works in the energy sector.
Some founding members of the Women in Energy Network and also the Board of Trustees say how important it is to create a platform that enables women take up positions of power in the energy sector.
It's a space where everybody can strive, and that's what we are about, to encourage the younger ones, to encourage our fellow colleagues who are, by nature, women don't come out easily. So this platform is a platform that enables women to speak out, to be seen, to be heard, and to showcase their competencies and qualities so that they can be heard and be given a seat on the table.
What inspired the conception and the establishment of the Women in Energy Network is because it's been very difficult for women to shatter the glass ceiling in male-dominated sectors. In the energy sector, it's very difficult to find women in leadership, women in entrepreneurship, and women as on the board of energy sector companies. We realize realize that mentoring, coaching, and building capacity and supporting each other is so important for women.
The evening act in various aspects of the energy industry received their awards.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Energia Limited, in collaboration with its joint venture partner Ondo Production and Development Company, has commissioned a series of projects executed over the last 4 years for host communities in Kwale, Dokwa West local government area of Delta State. The projects include internal community road projects, refurbishment of school infrastructure, construction of edifices for traditional institutions, and installation of solar power streetlights. The Commissioner for Oil and Gas, who represented the state governor, is one of those present to witness the event.
I'd like to recognize and welcome. The event begins with the arrival of notable guests and other community members amidst cheers and dance, and their first assignment is a visit to the palace of the Okpaluku of Ebendo, where they state their mission.
Designed to make sure that every strata of your community is touched. We will not relent, we will continue to do what we know our best to do. Our cross-border arrangements, copied by the federal government and refused. It means that model is working, it's now a national thing.
The traditional ruler, through his spokesperson, appreciates the gesture, highlighting the positive impact the JV has had on the community over the years. This visit then gives way for the main assignment of the day, where the palace structures, the Otole Primary School, New Ebendo roads, solar street lights, Corpus Lodge, and secondary school model projects were all commissioned.
I please commission this building.
From here, they head to the palace of the Okpaluku of Obodugu community for the commissioning of the Obodugu market and 169 kilometers of internal roads. The Umuse community and Ogbani community projects are next, with the commissioning of the palace structures, school, and internal roads project. The state government expresses its satisfaction with the way the Energia Oando joint venture has continued to ensure a good relationship with its host communities.
They have done marvelously well. If what they have done, all the other companies are doing this, I can tell you that there will not be crisis in any community.
The medical outreach that also form part of these projects have been successfully completed, and the JV management insists the Trust Board and Communities Parliaments have been instrumental in ensuring effective delivery of its corporate social responsibility.
It is important that we let the larger oil and gas community benefit in this. As such, we push for it to be included in the PIA. And it is not something that is it's a model for the entire oil and gas industry to benefit from.
Energia Oando Joint Venture is an indigenous company that has been active in the exploration and production of oil and gas since December 2009.
Popular gospel artists Sinach, Tokwe Alabi, Nathaniel Bassey, Chioma Jesus, among several other A-listers are set to perform at the Unusual Praise 2023 event scheduled to hold on December the 15th. At the press conference, Chairman of the 2023 Unusual Praise Organizing Committee, Dr. Oke Nwoke, notes that the event is scheduled for 5 p.m. at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos.
This press conference marks the official countdown to one of the most anticipated praise nights of the year, Unusual Praise 2023.
Unusual Praise 2023.
Scheduled for December the 15th at the Tafawa Balewa Square, the event is a brainchild of the Catholic Church of Divine Mercy, Lekki, and will draw a host of gospel acts such as Sinach, Nathaniel Bassey, Tokwe Alabi, among others.
What we are going to see on Unusual Praise 2023 at the venue will be a whole lot of praise, not just where some people think it's Catholic. No, it's sponsored by Catholic Church of Divine Mercy, but for all believers.
One of the objectives of Unusual Praise is to provide funding, business training and mentorship for entrepreneurs through its Unusual Entrepreneurship Program. And this year, the event is set to provide its 6th round of funding for entrepreneurs.
Between Onisha that took place a couple of weeks ago, and here we're going to have 100 people that will receive grants that will help them, all the way from 300,000 to 1.5 million naira each. So, and the important thing again, like I said, not just about the money, it's about the training that goes on, the mentoring that goes on, because our idea and our desire, and that's the plan, is over time, these same people are the ones that will come and sustain that unusual entrepreneurship. Based on the success they've made on their business, they'll come and give back and help other people to come on.
We should be expecting God in his, to move in an unusual way, because it's an unusual praise. So, and we are going, for God to move in an unusual way, we have to praise him in an unusual way.
Expect the unusual at the unusual praise, but really, on a very serious note, we're going to worship God, we're going to praise, we're going to jump, we're going to shout, we're going to have an amazing time praising and giving thanks to God. So, don't miss it.
Unusual Praise has quickly grown to become the biggest of its kind within the Catholic community in Africa, with explosive and spirit-filled ministrations, and organizers say this year's edition promises to be an incredible night of praise and worship with the theme, A New Song to the Lord. Unusual Praise 2023 will go on all night and end with the Holy Mass.
Henry Montego Homes, a real estate firm that boasts of expertise in delivering high-quality projects and long-term payment plans, has delivered Montego Garden 4 and Montego Bay 3 in the Ogombo area of Lagos to subscribers. The managing director of the company says the vision of the company is to grow people first and support the government through impactful housing programs. Guests at the occasion include the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyi Ogunwusi Ojaja II.
It's a busy day for members and staff of Henry Montego Homes as the real estate company delivers on its promises to subscribers. Construction of the Montego Garden 4 and Montego Bay 3 started in 2020 with a 5-year payment plan for subscribers who today now own a piece of the earth.
This estate is one of the most affordable estates in the whole of Ajah presently. Some people bought these estates for like 30 to 35 million. But currently, we have successfully helped them to build equity, because now this property is going for nothing less than 75 million. I can tell you that, within the space of 2 years.
For many of those clients and associates who have come to celebrate, Henry Montego Homes stands for affordability and luxury with great attention to quality and details.
We take a lot of time to give the best in terms of construction.
Within a couple of hours, you can close the deal and you can be a homeowner with 0 down payment, with 5 million as a deposit, and then spread your payment across 8 years. And you can take possession of these homes 18 to 24 months when the construction is completed.
The icing on the cake is the visit of a royal father, the Ooni of Ife, who has come to identify with Henry Montego.
Payment plan of 10 years with all this inflationary trend. Despite that, Henry Montego is still doing it. So for me, this is what we need in Nigeria, and that's why I came to support him. The major problem we have in Nigeria is housing. It's a problem that government cannot even solve. So the likes of Henry Montego, they're even doing what government is doing. So kudos to the company and the promoters.
With the Montego Bay 3 and Montego Garden 4 opened, subscribers can start moving in while payment is still ongoing. And the management says everyone is welcome to take advantage of this unique opportunity.
Business News is up next with Ann Waldo.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Ayo. Hello and welcome to Business News. Let's begin with Nigeria's crude oil production, including condensates. It fell about 1.46 million barrels per day in the month of November. Well, that's according to latest figures coming from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. Key highlights of that report from the NUPRC shows the figure is moderately lower than over 1.5 million barrels per day. Highest average production figures were recorded in September and the month of October. It will also be recalled that OPEC's 2023 crude oil production quota for Nigeria is set at 1.78 million barrels per day. And still talking oil and gas, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says the country has recorded 127 crude oil theft incidents in just 1 week between December the 2nd and the 8th. The NNPCL Limited, which made this known in a report via its X account, revealed that during the reporting week, 51 illegal refineries were uncovered, 29 illegal connections were identified, 8 vessels were found to have AIS identification system infractions, and 6 acts of pipeline vandalism were all detected, among other things. The World Food Programme is projecting a 4% increase in the number of hungry people in West and Central Africa to 49.5 million in the year 2024. In a statement, the WFP highlights worsening food insecurity, attributing the surge to conflict, the impact of climate change, and of course, increase in food prices. The United Nations Organization has also projected a 16% rise in hunger among women and children between July and August next year. And in the United Kingdom, the unemployment rate has held firm at 4.2% for 3 months leading up to October. That's according to data by the Office of the National Statistics, ONS. Despite the stable unemployment reading, the number of job vacancies showed a concerning decline, falling by 45,000 between the months of September and November. Also, the number of economically inactive individuals remained unchanged at 20.9%, pointing to a potential slowdown in the labor market recovery. And in the U.S., data shows the headline inflation has edged down for a second straight month in November. Well, according to the Department of Labor, the consumer price index rose 3.1% year on year, down from 3.2% rate in the month of October. The slowdown is coming on the back of falling gas prices and, of course, gasoline index dropping at 6.0%. Analysts are saying that this is largely, they are expecting the Fed to keep interest rates at the current level. Inflation still appears to be cooling at the moment. And back home in Nigeria, the equities market ended on a positive note, so the color is green today. Let's hear the details from Laddie Williams.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Time to get a check on the equities market performance today. And just like yesterday, it's another green close, even though the bourse was marginally up at intraday today, but managed to give us a convincing close, 0.33%, 71,009 for the all-share index. Market cap sitting at 39.34 trillion. Let's look at the activity chart now. We'll see a decline today in market volume, just like yesterday's relatively quiet trading today. Volume 319 million units of stocks, with deals lower than yesterday, 6,498. Let's look at the sectoral performance. We see financial services sector still looking good, but the oil and gas counter got a hammer in today, 1.03% down, with the likes of corn oil with a market cap of about 54 billion naira, Eternal Oil dragging the counter down. So with this 0.33% rise, year to date, we're seeing that about 40% now. That's the gain year to date for the NGX. At this rate, the NGX might end this year the best performing stock market in Africa. Fingers crossed. That's it for me on the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams.
That's Business News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. The rest of the news at 10 continues now with Ayotunde.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial cash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Anne. Israel has continued its bombardment of Gaza with the main focus on Khan Yunis in the south. There's also been fighting in the Rafah region near the Egyptian border. Meanwhile, a WHO official says the health system in Gaza has gone from 36 hospitals to only 11 in just 66 days, and those are only partially functioning. Here's Simon Puser with other international stories and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israel has continued its bombardment of Gaza with the main focus on Khan Yunis in the south. There's also been fighting in Rafah near the Egyptian border. Meanwhile, a World Health Organization official says the health system in Gaza has gone from 36 hospitals to only 11 in just 66 days, and those are only partially functioning. The US says Israel must put a premium on civilian life and give clearer instructions to allow people to avoid the conflict. Poland's newly appointed Prime Minister Donald Tusk says his country will demand the full mobilization of the West to help Ukraine, adding it will regain a leadership position in Europe and will be a strong part of NATO. Tusk added Poland's eastern border would be secure and vowed to quickly solve issues related to a truckers' protest on several border crossings with Ukraine. He also told Parliament Poland would be a loyal ally of the United States and that it would regain its position as a leader of the European Union, but said he would oppose any changes of EU treaties that would disadvantage Poland. A Turkish football club president has been arrested after punching a referee following a top-flight game on Monday. MKE Ankaragucu president Faruk Koka ran onto the pitch and struck match official Halil Umut Mela after his team conceded a 97th minute equaliser. Video later showed Halil Umut Mela recovering in an Ankara hospital bed as he was visited by the Interior Minister, who put him on the phone to the Turkish President Tayyip Recep Erdogan. All Turkish league football has been suspended following the incident. A Japanese court has found 3 ex-soldiers guilty of sexually assaulting a female colleague. The landmark verdict comes after Rina Gonoi caused a public outcry and drew international attention when she put her story on YouTube in 2022. Fukushima prosecutors then brought charges against the 3 men in March, reversing their earlier decision. Speaking out against sexual violence in the deeply conservative Japan is rare and remains taboo. A young climate activist has taken to the stage during a COP28 session holding a banner that read, "End fossil fuels, save our planet and our future." The 12-year-old activist from India has a strong interest in environmental issues after witnessing 2 cyclones in her home country. Top climate ministers left a late-night negotiating session at COP28 on Monday, with some saying the omission of the phase-out of fossil fuels in the draft text meant there was still much work ahead as the negotiations approach the final phase. The Iranian woman Mahsa Amini, who died in police custody last year, and the Woman Life Freedom Movement in Iran have been symbolically awarded the EU Parliament's Sakharov Rights Prize. 2 Iranian activists, as well as the lawyer of Amini's family, accepted the prize at a ceremony in Strasbourg on Amini's behalf. Iranian authorities prevented Amini's father, mother and brother from flying to France to attend the ceremony and confiscated their passports. The award-winning South African Afro-pop singer Bulelwa Mukutana, popularly known as Zahara, has died. That's according to the country's culture minister. She had been in hospital reportedly with liver complications, and the government had for some time. The songstress won fame in 2011 with her album Lolilwe, Loved Across Africa. And there have been wild celebrations in France after a 6th-tier team were drawn alongside the most decorated French club, PSG. players from the French Division 6 club US Revel erupted into celebration as they found out they'd been drawn against Paris Saint-Germain in the Coupe de France. They will host the Ligue 1 champions on January the 7th, with a place in the last 32 on the line. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you so much, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. The Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, has congratulated Victor Osimhen and Asisat Oshola for their remarkable achievements at the CAF Awards 2023. The minister says the victory of Victor Osimhen, Asisat Oshola, Chiamaka Nnadozie and the Super Falcons at the CAF Awards not only brings pride and honor to Nigeria, but also opens a new vista for the country's sports landscape. Their achievements serve as an inspiration to aspiring young athletes, demonstrating that hard work can lead to remarkable success on the global stage. Osimhen is the first Nigerian to win the award in 24 years, while Oshola is the first woman to win it a record 6 times. Meanwhile, the new king and queen of African football, Victor Osimhen and Asisat Oshola, have reacted to their new honors. At the post-CAF Awards press conference in Marrakesh, Morocco, both Nigerian internationals say the recognition on the continent will spur them to do more.
Back home to Nigeria, kind of bunch of talent we have in the country. When they were about to call the name, of course, I was really confident because I had good season. But I can't take away the achievement Mo Salah and Hakimi has achieved in the last season. They were exceptional for their club and their countries. So for me, I had good season also with my club and as well as my country. I did so well, and I think I deserve it just like the both of them.
A night of Thanksgiving for me because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's not because I'm that good. It's because I've had good teammates. I have good teammates. I have good people that I'm working with, and of course, people who dedicate their time to make me better every day.
And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today unveiled a plan for an overhaul of the nation's healthcare delivery system through the Health Sector Renewal Compact Initiative, built to attract $3 billion to the sector. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. From all of us here, it's good night and stay safe.